Okay. Hello, hello, hello? Hello? Hello. Oh my gosh. It's insane. Once again, I don't know how many times I need to go live for these insane events, but here we are yet again with another large tornado likely occurring in New York. And this is likely a larger tornado based on what I've seen on radar. I mean, look at that CC drop. Look at that CC drop right there near Griffin. This is right near Griffin. That is a very intense CC drop. Of course, not as intense as it was previously, but I need to change my title again. I need to change my title again. So, basically the history of this storm, it went right through Wells. Thankfully, a good thing with this storm, it kind of skipped Wells. Basically, it weakened as it entered into Wells. You can see the brighter colors were gone as it entered into Wells. And if you look at that blue dot, if you follow that blue dot that has continued through Wells, thankfully, it managed to skip Wells. Of course, it was still in Wells, and I do think there was still a tornado on the ground as it moved directly through the town of Wells. However, I do believe that the tornado was much weaker as it went through that town. So, most of the damage is going to be west and east of that town. However, we are going to see lots of damage where this tornado... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh my gosh, that is not good. That is a large tornado on the ground. That is a large tornado on the ground near Stony Creek. Thankfully, I don't think too many people live out here. So that is something. Yeah, it's right near a mountain. So thankfully, I don't think a lot of people live out here. So that is something. But another strong rotation near Day. I didn't notice that, but of course there's another one. We also have to worry about other spin-ups that occurred. That's not on the ground, but this storm, this is technically still in the line. I think what is happening is a bunch of storms are trying to merge into the line, and once they merge into the line, they're basically beginning to rotate. I think because there's an increased amount of wind shear in those mergers. Usually mergers cause less tornadoes to occur, but in this case, you know, it's just hitting different. That's all I gotta say. I mean, sometimes they can enhance the wind shear. So that's what we're seeing here. Let me just check. Alright. So, we're still looking at this. It does look like it broadened out. Okay, good. They extended this. And now it includes Lake George. If anybody knows that lives anybody in Lake George, I actually know this place pretty well. I know this place pretty well. I've seen Lake George before, and it's a beautiful place, but it's right near this tornado. I think it's going to go north of Lake George, though. I think it's going to head towards Warrensburg. Warrensburg is going to be the main area where this tornado is. However, hopefully this weakens by then. It is still strong at the moment. It's a little broad, which means there's some grays in between it, but that is not a good CC drop. That is a horrible CC drop. I don't know why this isn't observed. I don't know why it's not PDS. It should be PDS. This is a strong tornado on the ground for Warrensburg. Warrensburg, please, go into your safe spot. This is a horrible tornado that is quickly approaching you. Please go into your safe spot. Please go into your safe spot. My gosh, this is insane. This is right near Warrensburg. Here, let me see the population of Warrensburg. If it's some sort of big number, I swear. Oh my gosh, it's 4,000. Bro. Why is it 4,000 people that are in a path of a tornado? That is not good. And this is all happening in upstate New York. You guys realize how rare it is to have tornadoes? And I am speechless. This is a huge tornado. My God. Let me see if we have cameras here. That is a ginormous tornado. I know that's not even a word. Not even words can describe how large this tornado is right now. Let's see if we can get a view of this. No views, which is very unfortunate. If we had a view in Warrensburg, that would be very great. Let me see if we do. Webcams in Warrensburg, New York. Otherwise, we're going to be left in the dark about this. Alright, Adirondack webcams. Let's see this. Bunch of them. Let's see. Explore. Live webcams. They're not saying where they are that well. Warren County, New York. Alright, so we do have this camera. That's in Lake George. But that's not gonna help, because that's just a time-lapse. Alright, I have no idea where the webcams are. We're just gonna have to look at radar. I'm sorry, but we're just gonna have to look at radar. And what a radar presentation this is. Oh, wait, that's the wrong storm. Actually, you know what? It did kind of weaken. I mean, there's still that gigantic CC drop, but I think it did weaken. It might just be... Because one thing about that CC drop, while it is large, it's not very strong. There's not many of those, like, grays, blacks, and those pieces breaking the radar. Yeah, one thing about this, I don't know if it has lifted yet, but it definitely is a little weaker. I do think it's a little weaker than it used to be. So, it is approaching Warrensburg, New York, but I think it's a little weaker than it initially was. So, that is good news. So, hopefully this weakening trend continues, and we don't have a tornado on our hands as it approaches towards Warrensburg. Because, this is definitely weakening rotation. It's barely even there anymore. Of course, that's when it really got absorbed into the line. Usually, when tornadoes can't last for long when they're in lines. Of course, you get those QLCS spin-ups, which basically are when line surges out and basically inflow moves into it, creating a tornado. However, that usually doesn't last for long. Usually, the line overtakes it, and that's what we're seeing here. I mean, it's not like we're seeing no rotation with this. This is heading right over Route 8 near Girard Sugarbush and Griffin. I mean, is that a completely different area of rotation? That might be a completely different area of rotation. We might have just be seeing something completely different. Yeah, it's possible we're just seeing something completely different right now. Anyways, looking down at these storms over here, you can see there is a severe thunderstorm watch over here. Now, the reason why I'm not fully trusting these storms is because, well, there's a severe thunderstorm watch up here, and look what happened. Over here, there is also a severe thunderstorm watch. I don't trust as much to come with a tornado threat with these, but I do think some damaging winds are going to occur as it moves towards New York City. But our main concern right now, there is a new area of rotation developing that's going to head right towards Glens Falls, so I really hope that doesn't materialize. But right now, we're just watching this storm near Speculator. That's near Wilcox Lake Wild Forest. Yeah, that CC drop is really broadening out, which probably means the tornado is no longer on the ground. So let me change my title. Okay. I don't think this is on the ground anymore. I do not think so. This is going to head into Vermont very soon, though. It's not going to be in New York for much longer. I mean, I know I missed a lot. I know there was a tornado in Rome, New York. There was a tornado in Rome, New York. Because there's uprooted trees, shopping center, road sign bent, flipped car, a bunch of damage reports out of here. But right now, I wasn't able to go live for that because that was such a brief spin up. And I mean, it was strong, but really not as strong as the tornado we just saw go through Wells. Even though it didn't quite go through Wells, I will admit, it went a little bit. It did go through Wells, but it was kind of weaker when it went through Wells. So that's what I meant. I just hope we don't see any damage reports out of Wells. That would be very unfortunate. Let's see if we do have some cameras in Wells. Here is a map. And let's see if there is cameras in Wells. I'm sorry. This is in Warren County, New York. Where is Wells? There's Wilcox Lake State Forest. And this is the best camera we have right now. That really does not show much, but... Oh, this is another time lapse. It's so awesome when they only have time lapses. Like, don't you need the videos rather than time lapses? Let's see if all of these are time lapses. Yeah, all of them are. So, that's not really going to be helpful. Let's see over here. Maybe over here. I mean, that's showing some stuff. No, let's just keep this on. Yes, but no longer a tornado on the ground at the moment. I know there was previously, but no longer a tornado on the ground at the moment. So that is good news. But there could be one soon. I mean, these lines have produced tornado and tornado again. Now, it needs to be a thunderstorm warning. I don't think that's rotation. Yeah, that would be extremely stupid if it was rotation. Because that is such a small storm. It really does. One thing I am noticing with these storms are pretty discreet right now. But let me check the environment that these are in. Mesoscale analysis. Wind shear, bulk shear. There isn't a lot of shear. It's mostly in New York. So that's where we're seeing those storms. Cape, surface-based. There's some cape over there. But really the wind shear, if there's not that much wind shear. Yeah, and the upper air. The upper air is kind of low over there. I mean, the conditions are still good throughout New York and western Vermont. But really, it isn't. Supercell composite. Yeah, it's mostly good in just New York. I mean, there's some conditions in Pennsylvania that might warrant some attention. But I really don't think that's a big deal. I mean, you can see on this. That is the supercell composite. It goes a little bit into Pennsylvania, but it really is not that much. The Cape would be no problem over there, but the shear, you can see the shear really is not that much in this area. It's not like there's none. I think I have seen tornadoes with that amount of shear, but it really is rare. So I don't think we should be paying attention to these storms. Only these storms in New York. Only those storms in New York. We did get a 73-mile-per-hour gust near Edinburgh, New York. I don't think that's related to any tornadoes. That's just related to this line that is moving through. And it looks like all the rotations have gone away. Of course, right when it go live, because every single time when it go live, everything just disappears. Which, yeah, I maybe should go live more often. I'm saving lives here. I'm saving lives. I'm not going to falsely say I'm saving lives, because that's just not good. But yeah, most of the rotations are gone. I mean, I'm still looking. I bet there's still some areas that we need to watch. It's just I can't see any at the moment. Maybe if when these head into Vermont, we'll still see more. But yeah, I hope not too much happens when these head into Vermont. Of course, Vermont isn't a very populated state, but... My bad. Oh, my bad. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for that. Now you know who I was watching before this stream. But... it's severe thunderstorm warning for Allentown, Pennsylvania. So, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, just be indoors, be inside of your house, or some other structure, and just stay away from any windows or doors. Just stay away. But you don't have to go into your safe spot or anything as such. This is in Allentown. And really, you probably should still go into your safe spot if you live in Glens Falls. Basically, what your safe spot is, that's the most tightly locked. It's the most distant room inside of a sturdy structure. The most distant room from any outside connection. Basically, if you were to walk through walls in that room, then if you ended up outside when you walked through any of those walls, then the room is not safe and you would have to move to another room where if you walk through all of those walls in the room, then you would end up in other rooms rather than outside. So just make sure that you are in one of those places. Burn, New York. Let's see. That's right near the radar, so it's kind of extremely hard to tell if there's stuff going on there. Wait, let me see this. You might be looking at side lobe. You might be looking at side lobe. If you see those red colors and white colors next to each other, that is probably side lobe. I don't know if you live in Burn, New York, or was pointing out rotation in Burn, New York, but it's likely just side lobe you're looking at in Burn, New York. I don't think that's anything. Plus, this area of the line, it doesn't seem like it's too active tornadically. It is a little more isolated, but this area is less... Let's just say less, has less of the conditions. Has less of the conditions for tornadoes. So I don't think that's anything. Side lobe, basically how side lobe is formed, basically it's when a radar beams move as the earth curves. They move as the earth curves. Of course, that's considering if you believe that the earth is round, but like, you know. They move as the earth curves, and they usually end up higher in the atmosphere as they move towards a specific direction because of the earth's curvature. So, some of his radar beams move a little bit too far up too quickly, and then they are far into the air, where the rotation can be high sometimes, up in the air. So that's why you can sometimes see that side lobe. Also, hail can sometimes cause some differences in the rotation in that area. So that also is false. Basically, you spot it when it's very blocky on radar presentation, when it's very, I guess, if you will, very low quality pixelation. Otherwise, I think we're good. I mean, we still have this thing over here near Thurman. It's near Johnsburg. I mean, that could be on the ground. I don't think so, but it could be. I'm just not seeing it. I mean, I don't know. You see, we do have a few of these severe thunderstorm warnings in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Most of them are just warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds, so they're not a big deal. But still, just be aware of them in your area. And make sure to go indoors and stay away from those windows indoors if you live in those areas. Alright, severe thunderstorm warning. I think that was issued a long time ago, to be honest. But severe thunderstorm warning for Albany. That's only for 60-mile-per-hour winds, so that's not too bad. But still, if you live in Albany, I would go indoors, inside, and I would stay away from any doors or windows. But I do think this threat is diminishing. Right as I go live. I mean, it's always happens, but I do think this threat is diminishing. So that is some good news. And I mean, if this continues to diminish, I might stop going live. It might have just been a very brief live stream that I did, like yesterday night. We do also have a few severe thunderstorm warnings here in South Carolina. None of them are rotating at the moment. We're not expecting them to rotate. We also did have a few tornadoes near St. Louis earlier today. So that is interesting to note. And we did have a couple of tornado reports after I went to sleep. There was one near Elkhart, Indiana. We actually got a few ratings. Let's look at the ratings of these tornadoes. Let's look at them. On the damage assessment toolkit. Not the ones from today, but the ones from yesterday. Oh, wait, what? Huh? Was one already surveyed today? No, wait, no, that was from yesterday. I have no idea why there was a tornado yesterday in New York. Oh, yeah, there was that line moving through New York. I remember that now. Yeah. There was those possible tornadoes in New York, and I guess we did have one, an EF0 near Canandaigua. But anyways, here's that tornado that I tracked in Des Moines. That was an EF1. It looked much more dangerous than it actually was. I know people were saying if it's PDS, it's EF2 to EF5. See, that doesn't always mean that. It doesn't always mean that. See, this was only rated EF1. So realize that there is a difference between PDS and EF2, EF5 strength. There was also this tornado after I finished my live stream near Davenport. It was kind of brief, but this could have just been a downburst, which it basically is the strong winds that move towards the ground. This could have just been a downburst after all, so I don't know, though. It could have been a tornado. I mean, with those strong winds, it could have been, but there was 100-mile-per-hour winds last night with those, with that derecho setup. I still don't know if it could be considered derecho or not. Then we had this one tornado in Illinois. It was near Henry. It's known as the Lake Wildwood tornado, 100-mile-per-hour winds. And that was also near Magnolia, Varna. Didn't see that on radar. I did miss that. There was a few tornadoes in Chicago that we ended up going live for. Here's the one near Elkhart that was shown on Radar Omega. That was EF1 with 90-mile-per-hour winds. And then we had one near Tippecanoe. That was EF0. So still have this tornado warning in effect, but really, things have calmed down. I will say that. Things definitely have calmed down, which I'm really glad about. Which is interesting, because usually the most activity occurs later on in the night. But yeah, here's some of the winds reports from yesterday. We got 105 miles per hour, which is insane. That would meet duration criteria. We're just unsure if it traveled long enough, which it could have. I mean, winds went all the way into Logansport, Indiana, and went all the way from Waterloo in Iowa. So that could definitely be a derecho. And maybe this thing too, but I don't think the winds are strong enough with this system. But yeah, 105 mile per hour gust. Half of Corn Crib destroyed in the description. That's near Wyoming, Illinois. And then near Rockford, 101 miles per hour near Davis Junction. Widespread tree damage. So that's actually more than some of the tornadoes that we saw. It's more than their strength. So really, it goes to show that sometimes the damaging wind threat can be just as dangerous as the tornadoes themselves. Not always, but sometimes. Hopefully none of the tornadoes that we saw today, though, are stronger, though. It does seem likely, though, but I'm not sure, of course. I'm not the NWS. I can't magically predict what the ratings are for these tornadoes. I don't know. And yeah, that's all for the damage assessment toolkit. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll end it here. Really, things calmed down ever since I went live. I know it's not good to stop going live because, I don't know, I have magical powers or something. But, you know, I really do think that is it for the threat. It doesn't seem like this is going to increase again. If it does, I'll be back live. I'll be using the same thumbnail and that stuff. And I'll be back. I just noticed that. I mean, it's no newcome. Anyways, let me just look at that. Yeah, it's just a shower. I don't think that's anything. But if it is, then I'll be back, and don't worry, I'll be here to cover the weather events as they happen. But otherwise, this is me signing off. Thank you guys for watching, and please make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. If you don't know what the notifications look like, it's the bell comment, it's the subscribe button. Also, make sure to like this video. I don't care if you dislike. If you really didn't like this video, fine, dislike. But anyways, guys, don't you just understand? It's just so much simpler. It's such an exhilarating feeling to just head and make that direction onto the Moyes Data on the Road freeway. Goodbye, guys.